Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Wisdom Channel. Have you encountered a shooting star before? What reflections do you have when you catch sight of one? Do you wish upon it, or do you take a moment to admire its splendor? Have you ever thought about the science behind it, questioning what events might have resulted in the formation of meteorites? This video explores the fascinating reality of meteorites, also known as shooting stars, from both a scientific viewpoint and an Islamic perspective. Additionally, we'll discover whether making a wish while observing these celestial wonders can actually lead to your dreams coming true. By the end of this video, you will discover 1. The scientific explanation for shooting stars. 2. The Islamic perspective as outlined in the Holy Qur'an and Hadith. 3. The ability of Jinn to traverse the skies. 4. The methods used to expel Jinn from the heavens. 5. The link between Jinn and fortune tellers. 6. Islam's stance on fortune telling. Let's start with the science behind meteorite. What are shooting stars or meteors? A shooting star is not actually a star. It is the visible path of a meteoroid as it enters the Earth's atmosphere and burns up due to friction with the air. The bright streak of light created is known as a meteor. How do shooting stars occur? Number 1. Meteoroids. Meteoroids are small rocky or metallic bodies in space, typically ranging from tiny grains to objects about the size of a boulder. They can originate from comets, asteroids, or even debris from planets. Number 2. Entering the atmosphere. When a meteoroid enters the Earth's atmosphere, it travels at extremely high speeds, often between 25,000 to 160,000 miles per hour or equivalent to 40,000 to 257,000 kilometers per hour. Number 3. Friction and heating. As the meteoroid descends, it encounters atmospheric gases, which create friction. This friction generates immense heat, causing the outer layer of the meteoroid to vaporize and produce light. Number 4. Formation of a meteor. The intense heat causes the meteoroid to glow, creating the bright streak of light we see as a shooting star. The temperature can reach up to 1,800 degrees Celsius, 3,272 degrees Fahrenheit, or more. Number 5. Duration and visibility. Most meteors are visible for just a few seconds as they travel through the atmosphere, though some may last longer. The visibility also depends on the meteoroid's size and speed. Now let's proceed to the types of meteors. Number 1. Regular meteors. These are the most common and occur throughout the year. They can be seen sporadically and are often linked to meteor showers. Number 2. Meteor showers. These occur when the Earth passes through the debris trail left by a comet. During a meteor shower, many meteors can be seen in a short period, often at a predictable time each year, such as the Perseids, Leonids, and Geminids. Number 3. Fireballs. These are exceptionally bright meteors that can be as bright as the full moon. They are typically larger than regular meteors and can leave a lasting trail in the sky. What happens after the meteor? If a meteoroid survives its passage through the atmosphere and lands on Earth, it is called a meteorite. Meteorites can provide valuable scientific information about the solar system. Shooting stars are a result of meteoroids entering the Earth's atmosphere, experiencing intense friction that generates heat and light. Their brief yet beautiful appearances captivate observers, making them a significant topic in both scientific study and cultural lore. Having understood the scientific explanation, it's time to turn our attention to the Islamic viewpoint found in the Qur'an and Hadith. But, before we jump into the next concept, make sure to subscribe to our channel. That way you won't miss any of our latest uploads. In Islamic teachings, Jinn are expelled from the heavens by divine methods, particularly through the use of shooting stars, meteors, which serve as a protection mechanism to prevent them from overhearing conversations of the angels and stealing divine secrets. This act of expelling jinn is referenced in the Qur'an and Hadith, describing how Allah safeguards the heavens from the shayatin, evil jinn or devils. 1. Shooting stars, burning flames or meteors. The primary method used to expel the jinn from the heavens is the use of shooting stars, referred to as burning flames or flaming missiles in the Qur'an. These meteors are a form of divine weaponry, which chase away the jinn who attempt to eavesdrop on the conversations of the angels in the heavens. Qur'an reference. In Surah Al-Hijr chapter 15 verse 16 to 18, Allah mentions the creation of constellations and the guarding of the heavens with shooting stars to prevent devils, jinn, from eavesdropping on the conversations of the angels. And we have placed within the heaven great stars and have beautified it for the observers. And we have protected it from every devil expelled, except one who steals a hearing and is pursued by a clear burning flame. This verse implies that shooting stars, referred to as burning flames, are used to repel jinn from accessing the divine secrets of the heavens. Surah As-Safat chapter 37 verse 6 to 10. Indeed, we have adorned the nearest heaven with an adornment of stars and as protection against every rebellious devil. So they may not listen to the exalted assembly of angels, and are pelted from every side, repelled. And for them is a constant punishment, except one who snatches, some words, by theft, but they are pursued by a burning flame, piercing in brightness. Here, the shayatin who try to eavesdrop are described as being pursued by a burning flame, shooting star, which chases them away from the heavenly realms. 2. Guarding angels. In addition to the use of shooting stars, angels are also assigned to guard the heavens and prevent jinn from gaining access to divine knowledge. This adds another layer of protection to the heavens. Surah Al-Jinn, chapter 72, verse 8 themselves admit that they once attempted to listen to the conversations of the angels in the heavens, but after the revelation of the Qur'an, they were blocked and repelled by flaming stars. And we have sought to reach the heaven but found it filled with strong guards and burning flames. And we used to sit there in positions for hearing, but whoever listens now will find a burning flame lying in wait for him. According to this verse, the jinn themselves admit that they used to be able to steal information from the heavens, but now they are blocked by angels and burning flames. After the revelation of the Qur'an, Allah further fortified the heavens with strong guards, angels, who prevent the shayatin from accessing the exalted assembly of angels. 3. Divine punishment for the jinn. Besides being expelled through shooting stars and blocked by angels, the shayatin who persist in trying to steal information are subject to divine punishment. These devils face constant attacks from meteors when they attempt to enter forbidden realms, acting as a deterrent for future attempts. The methods used to expel jinn from the heavens include shooting stars, burning flames, that chase and strike jinn who try to steal divine secrets, angels guarding the heavens, preventing jinn from accessing the conversations of the angels, constant divine punishment, as the shayatin are repelled and punished for attempting to eavesdrop. These protections are described in the Qur'an and Hadith to illustrate Allah's power and the safeguarding of the divine knowledge in the heavens. Hadith reference. In an authentic hadith narrated by Ibn Abbas, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained that the jinn would try to ascend to the heavens to eavesdrop on the angels, but they would be struck by shooting stars, which are a form of divine punishment or deterrence for such actions. The devils had places in the heavens for themselves where they would listen to news, but when they would hear one word, they would add 9 to it. So when the shooting stars came and prevented them from going to their places, they told their companions. Hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari. The links between jinn and fortune tellers. In Islamic teachings, shooting stars are not just natural phenomena, but they serve as a form of divine protection, driving away devils or jinn who try to steal information from the heavens. They are a reminder of Allah's power and His control over both the seen and unseen world. The type of jinn that can travel to the heavens to steal news and conversations are referred to as shayatin, plural of shaitan, in Islamic teachings. These are evil jinn or devils who seek to eavesdrop on the conversations of angels in the heavens to learn about divine decrees, and then relay the information back to fortune-tellers or soothsayers on earth. Qur'an reference. In Surah Al-Jinn chapter 72 verse 8-9, the jinn themselves admit that they used to ascend to the heavens in an attempt to steal news but were stopped by flaming stars after the revelation of the Qur'an. And we have sought to reach the heaven but found it filled with strong guards and burning flames. And we used to sit there in positions for hearing, but whoever listens now will find a burning flame lying in wait for him. Characteristics of these jinn. Shayatin, evil jinn. These are rebellious and disobedient jinn who engage in evil deed. They attempt to gain access to the knowledge of the heavens, but they are intercepted by flaming stars, which prevent them from conveying accurate information. Speed and ability. These jinn have the ability to quickly ascend into the heavens to eavesdrop, though their attempts are thwarted by shooting stars as part of Allah's divine protection. The process of how these shayatin, evil jinn, relay the information they steal from the heavens to fortune-tellers or soothsayers is described in both the Qur'an and Hadith. 1. Partial truth mixed with lies. The shayatin manage to overhear bits of truthful information from the conversations of angels in the heavens, particularly related to events decreed by Allah. However, due to the divine intervention of shooting stars, they are often chased away before they can hear everything. According to a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, these jinn relay the small portion of truth they hear to fortune-tellers, but they mix it with numerous lies. Hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari. They, the jinn, pass the information down until it reaches the lips of the magician or the fortune-teller. Sometimes a meteor may strike the jinn before he can pass it on, and sometimes he passes it on before the meteor strikes him, whereupon he adds to it 100 lies. Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 54, Hadith 432. This hadith explains that the jinn occasionally succeed in hearing part of a divine decree, but they embellish it with many fabrications when they relay the information to fortune-tellers. 2. Chain of transmission. The jinn who overhear this information may not directly pass it to the fortune-teller themselves. Instead, they transmit it down through a chain of jinn, eventually reaching the fortune-teller or magician. Each jinn in the chain may distort the original information further by adding lies. 3. Deception of fortune-tellers. Fortune-tellers and soothsayers then use the partial truths provided by the jinn to convince people of their accuracy and power. Since one small part of the prediction might come true, people often believe the fortune-teller is credible, even though most of what they say is false. In another hadith, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stated, the jinn would steal a hearing, then they would pass on what they had heard until it reached the lips of a magician or a fortune-teller, and sometimes a meteor would hit them before they could pass it on. If they passed it on, they would add to it 100 lies. Hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. 4. Revelation blockage after the coming of Islam. After the revelation of the Qur'an, Allah intensified the guarding of the heavens, making it much more difficult for jinn to eavesdrop. This is why many jinn admitted that the heavens were now filled with burning flames and strong guards after the revelation began, as mentioned in Surah Al-Jinn chapter 72 of the Qur'an verse 8-9. Now let's summarize the process. The shayatin, evil jinn, attempt to steal information from the heavens. They relay this information to fortune-tellers, either directly or through a chain of other jinn. They mix a small bit of truth with many lies, leading to the deception of fortune-tellers. Fortune-tellers use this partial truth to gain credibility among people, despite most of their predictions being false. This deception is part of the way jinn mislead and manipulate humans, and it is condemned in Islamic teachings. Islam's stance on fortune-telling. In Islam, fortune-telling is strictly prohibited and considered a serious sin. The practice is viewed as a form of shirk, associating partners with Allah, which is one of the gravest offenses in Islam. The reasoning behind this prohibition stems from several core beliefs, including the absolute knowledge of Allah, the deception of the fortune-tellers, and the reliance on jinn for information. 1. Only Allah knows the unseen, al-ghaib. One of the fundamental reasons for the prohibition of fortune-telling in Islam is the belief that only Allah has knowledge of the unseen, al-ghaib. The Qur'an repeatedly emphasizes that no human being, including fortune-tellers or astrologers, has access to future knowledge unless Allah wills it. Surah Al-An'am, Holy Qur'an, chapter 6, verse 59. And with him are the keys of the unseen. None knows them except him. Surah An-Naml, Holy Qur'an, chapter 27, verse 65. Say, none in the heavens and the earth knows the unseen except Allah, and they do not perceive when they will be resurrected. These verses affirm that knowledge of the future and the unseen is exclusively Allah's domain, and those who claim otherwise are engaging in falsehood. 2. Deception of fortune-tellers. Fortune-telling involves deceit, as fortune-tellers often use tricks or guesswork to make their predictions. According to Islamic teachings, some fortune-tellers may claim to receive information from jinn, who steal bits of knowledge from the heavens, as mentioned earlier. However, even this information is unreliable because it is mixed with many lies. Hadith from Sahih Muslim. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever goes to a fortune-teller and believes what he says has disbelieved in what was revealed to Muhammad." This hadith indicates the seriousness of consulting or believing in a fortune-teller, as it involves rejecting Islamic teachings. Hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari. The angels descend in the clouds and mention matters that have been decreed in heaven. The devils eavesdrop on these matters and reveal them to soothsayers, who add to it 100 lies of their own. This highlights the deception involved in fortune-telling, where a small truth might be mixed with many falsehood. 3. Seeking help from jinn is forbidden. Some fortune-tellers claim to have access to jinn who provide them with information. Islam teaches that relying on jinn for any kind of guidance is haram, forbidden, because it involves engaging with evil beings that can lead people astray. This reliance on jinn is a form of shirk, associating others with Allah, because it involves seeking supernatural help from beings other than Allah. Surah Al-Jinn, Holy Qur'an, chapter 72, verse 6. And there were men from mankind who sought refuge in men from the jinn, so they only increased them in burden. This verse underscores the negative consequences of humans relying on jinn. 4. Fortune-telling leads to shirk, polytheism. Consulting fortune-tellers and believing in their predictions is a form of shirk because it involves attributing divine-like knowledge to human beings or jinn. In Islam, shirk is the greatest sin and can lead to the loss of faith. Surah An-Naml, Holy Qur'an, chapter 27, verse 65. Say, none in the heavens and the earth knows the unseen except Allah, and they do not perceive when they will be resurrected. Belief in fortune-tellers undermines the belief that Allah is the sole knower of the unseen, which is a fundamental aspect of Islamic monotheism, Tawhid. 5. Consequences for believers. Muslims are strongly warned against going to fortune-tellers or soothsayers. Even seeking their advice out of curiosity can have serious spiritual consequences. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever goes to a fortune-teller and asks him about something, his prayers will not be accepted for 40 days. Hadith from Sahih Muslim. This hadith warns that the mere act of visiting a fortune-teller can result in the rejection of a person's prayers for 40 days, indicating the gravity of the act. In summary, fortune-telling is forbidden in Islam because it contradicts the belief that only Allah knows the unseen. Consulting fortune tellers and believing in their predictions is a form of shirk, polytheism. Fortune tellers often deceive people by mixing small truths with many lies, often using information from Jinn, which is unreliable. The Qur'an and Hadith warn Muslims to avoid fortune tellers, with severe consequences for those who engage in this practice. Islam encourages believers to place their trust in Allah alone and to avoid relying on false and misleading sources for knowledge about the future. And there you have it, wonderful viewers. You've just discovered the true story behind shooting stars and meteorites, blending insights from science and Islamic teachings. We're eager to hear your opinions on this subject, so drop your comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the Wisdom channel and share this video with your loved ones, so they too can learn the truth about shooting stars and avoid the pitfalls of wish-making and fortune-telling. Catch you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.